sixth graders, Mr. Newman here. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. So I'm going to use this video to help you understand what your job is in class today. So there are three objectives. The first two you must complete in class today. So you're going to take the Chapter 2 evidence from the past quiz, and then you're going to go on a virtual field trip. And I'm going to explain those in the next about 3 to 5 minutes. If you do get done with those two things today, that must get done in class. So that's your gauge. If I did my job, I have those first two things on this list done. The third is if you get to it, it's starting identifying and labeling Minnesota's rivers, cities, and lakes. All right, so let's go. So you clicked on this link to get to this page to watch this video. And at that point, you will see your quiz. So there are two objectives on this page. We have number 1 is the quiz. Number 2 is your virtual field trip. Since we have a number 1 here, that means we're going to do that first. So I'm going to tap where it says tap here on these big red words, and it's going to bring you to your quiz. Now yours is going to look a little bit different because you're on the iPad and because you're on the student view. So there are 9 questions in the quiz. Go through them. Make sure that you have selected the correct answer that you want, because I had a couple kids already said they chose one answer, but they meant to have the other one. So double check, triple check, quadruple check your answers before you tap submit. So once you tap submit quiz, then it's official, right? So this should take you anywhere from 5 to 10-ish minutes. So work your way through it. Take your time. Don't rush through it. Just use the test taking strategies you know and have used in the past. Once you're done with the quiz, you've tapped submit. At that point, we're going to go back to this Canvas page, and you're going to work on number 2. Since it's number 2, you're doing the second. So the virtual field trip that you're going to go on is to Jeffers, Minnesota. There's a petroglyph site that the Minnesota Historical Society has there. We could go there if we had the time and took a field trip. It's about a 2.5-hour drive from CMS. But what's there is about 5,000 of these rock carvings that we know and call as petroglyphs. These were made by ancestors of today's Dakota Native American tribes. So at this site, it tells the story of how people lived thousands of years ago, the time after or during the glaciers and as the glaciers receded north. So there are a couple steps within this field trip. Number 1, watch videos. So as you're watching, what questions do you have? Pay attention to what you're thinking. What information did I already know? Right? Those are things that you can start paying attention to. So the first 2 videos, we'll kind of go through of what it would be like if we went to the Jeffers field trip, if we were able to go there in person. So the one's just the field trip itself. The other one's kind of a tour guide of what you would see. Then we're going to go to step number 2. After you viewed those videos, you're going to open Google Earth. If you have Google Earth on your iPads, awesome. If not, you can download the app from self-service. So you do that before you go to this next part. Now, once you get to Google Earth, you're going to go into the search bar, and I'll show you how to do this, and type in Jeffers petroglyphs, right? So let's go there now. So there's a link here. It'll also bring you to the website version. Since I'm on my computer, that's what I'm going to use. But the app actually works better because it's easier to maneuver and manipulate. All right. So I mentioned that you're going to go to the search bar, which is this tool right here. And at that point, you're going to type in this search, Jeffers, Minnesota petroglyphs. Now, mine already shows up because I did this already. So once I tap on it, it's going to bring me to this site. All right. Now, to give you an idea as to where we're at compared to Plymouth, I'm going to scan out, and you can see Plymouth is, let's see how far it takes me before it shows us Plymouth. There's Plymouth. CMS is right in here. Now, if you're anything like me, you're going to want to play around and try to find your house and all those fun things. I'll say that you can do that, but let's do the field trip first at Jeffers, Minnesota. So let's scan out again, and we're going to go back to Jeffers, and you'll notice the landscape looks a little bit different than what we see around Central Middle School. Now, to help us with this, we're going to go to this little person here to drop and see the street view. So when I tap on it, you'll see these dots pop up. All right, I'm going to tap on these dots. And as you start looking around, it's going to drop us right on the actual rock facings. So you can look around, you can zoom in, zoom out, see if you can't find some petroglyphs carved into the rocks. Now, it's going to be a little bit challenging since we're not physically there. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. But do your best. See if you can't find a few petroglyphs. As you do that, you can look around. What is the scenery like around the petroglyph site? What is the landscape like? How is it different from Central Middle School? How is it similar from something you saw before or read in a book? Right? Those are questions that you can be asking in your head. Now, when you tap this person again, it's going to bring you out, and you can go back to different parts of this petroglyph site and just kind of see what it all has to offer around it. It'll drop you on different parts of the rock as well. So just take some time, use this Google Earth to look around. Okay. Now, once I'm done with that, I've looked around on the petroglyph site. I'm going to go back to Canvas. And step 4 here, and this is the final step of the field trip, is you're going to go to this Google form. Okay, this Google form is going to ask you to put your name, your core. There's a couple of videos. So this first video talks about the people. This is going to explain a little bit more about the people who were making those rock carvings thousands of years ago. Once you've done watching the video, what are 2 facts that you've learned? There's a second video here about the prairie. This is the land surrounding the petroglyphs. You're going to watch that. And then what is some information that you found interesting about the petroglyph site or the prairie that surrounds the petroglyphs? The final question is more information for me. And I'm asking you to be honest. You're not going to hurt my feeling if you didn't like this virtual field trip. But I'm going to also ask you for some feedback. How can we make this better? Right? So the first thing is, how interesting did you find the virtual field trip? 1 is not at all the way to 5, very interesting. Would you be interested in doing more virtual field trips, more activities like this? Now, it wouldn't be necessarily the same exact way. I'm trying to find different ways to make class a little bit more interesting and more engaging for you. So yes, I'd be interested. No, I wouldn't. And then what did you like about this virtual field trip? What are some aspects of it that you really enjoyed? And then finally, what did you dislike? What are some things that I could change to make this better? I want to get feedback from you so we can make this more interesting, more engaging, so you can learn. This is all about you as a 6th grader, you as a learner. I want to help you out. So tap submit when you're done with that, and I will get that information to help you. Now, once you've done those 2 things, I did my quiz, I did my field trip. The next step is up by the smartboard. You'll see a map that looks like this map right here. And then there are 2 QR codes. One will bring you to the cities in order to plot these cities correctly. The other one will bring you to the rivers so you can plot the rivers. Right? You're going to have to do some investigating to find out how to do each. All right? One more thing to think about when we're looking at the maps, this is one of the QR codes. It's going to give you all these cities, so you're going to have to do some searching a little bit. And then the other one is for the rivers. So you can see Minnesota River here, Mississippi River right here, St. Croix, Lake Superior up to the northeast, right? That's going to give you all the information you need in order to fill in this map. Now, here's a student example of a map. So when you're finished, it looks something like this. All right. Please follow all the expectations that you would, even if I was in the classroom or if we had a guest teacher. So I expect you to follow those. I expect you to use earbuds while you are viewing the videos and just get through all of the work that we have completed. Stay focused, and I hope you are able to enjoy the field trip and start working on the map. All right.